Now this is just kind of an initial review of the Tamron 28 to 75 millimeter f2.8. So we lowered the light just to see if we can get the shadows off. Now with the flash off is what you see is what you get. When you turn the flash on, because it's the first time I'm using it in a professional way, the price is great. It's small, it's lightweight, it has a really good usable focal range. It'll be hard pressed to need any other focal range for what I do. Now I was concerned about it not going to 24 millimeters, as some of you also mentioned in a lot of the comments on forums. But you know, really, I even showed some examples of why 24 is better than 28. But if 28's not wide enough, you know, 24 is not wide enough, you know, how wide do you need? Or you're concerned about this not having 24, it might be best just to get a whole nother lens that, I don't know what lens is out there, 8 to 16 or whatever one of those. That's how that goes. So for me, it's not a big deal. Also know this is I just got back a couple weeks ago from a 3-week European trip. On that trip, I used Sony's Zeiss 55mm f1.8 along with the Rokinon 24mm f2.8. So those are two primes that I used on that trip. In another week, I'm going back to Europe for another 3 weeks, and this time I'm going to take nothing but the Tamron, and I'm going to take the Sony 50mm f1.8 that I just did a lens review on that. Awesome, it's the most underrated lens that I think. Check out the video. But I'm going to take this Tamron on my next trip, and then when I come back, I'll do a more thorough review. So stay tuned to that. But initial thoughts is it's great. It actually it surpassed my expectations for sharpness. The sharpest part of this lens is like at 50 millimeters. When you start zooming in past that, it starts getting a little softer. Not softer as far as the lens being soft, but softer than itself at 50 or below. And of course, stopping down to f8, you get even sharper. So if you're looking for real super sharpness from this lens, 50 millimeter at f5.6 is a good number to shoot at. When I first thought about this photo shoot, I was going to say I'm going to shoot around 50 millimeters at around 5.6 because of that sharpness. But when everything just went to heck, it was raining out, my assistant couldn't come and change locations and all that stuff. I said, you know what, everything else has changed. Let's go ahead and shoot at 75 millimeters at f2.8. I'm so glad I did, because now I can see that this lens is completely capable of shooting professional portraits at 75 millimeter at f2.8, as you're going to see right now. So let's go to computer and check this out. While we were waiting for everybody to show up, I just went ahead and I did some detail shots of everything here. This is all with the Tamron. Nothing else was used in this. I used 75 millimeters. I used all the focal lengths. Most of it I shot at f2.8. You can just really see, I mean, look at the detail of this lens. It's just absolutely amazing. If we come over here, I focused like right there. The detail is just really good on this lens, guys. If you're thinking about getting this lens, don't think about it anymore. Just get it. Here's just a little bit of depth of field that you can get. Now this was at 20, so we were at 28 millimeter at 2.8. So that's kind of shallow depth of field you can get with this. Here's the Eagle Scout. You know, this is one of the proud moments in a Boy Scout journey, is to get this Eagle Scout. So I got a shot of that. This was a cool shot. This was what, 28 millimeter at 2.8. I just basically got really low and shot up. I told him to hold his tie right here and look down in the camera, knowing that he's going to be all blurry. I thought it was kind of a cool shot to show off some of these. But look how sharp that is. I mean, yoo-hoo, super sharp. Here's another shot here. Now this was at 75 millimeter at 2.8, so you can kind of see the depth of field you're getting. I mean, 2.8 at 75 millimeters. I thought I was going to be a little like, I don't know about the depth of field. Is it going to, is it going to be shallow enough for me? But you know what? It really is. This worked out absolutely great for me. When I go out and I do shoots, I like to see where I'm shooting. Like if I were to blob this out 100%, you wouldn't even maybe make out what this is. So for me, f2.8 so far is just really doing great at 75 millimeters. Here's a shot here at 28 millimeter at f2.8. Now I shot this at 250th of a second, 2000 ISO, because it was pretty dark out at this point, and I wanted to get all the shrapnel flying off. And you can see I was just on the ground using eye autofocus, and for this shot I told him just to lean it up there and take the shot like that. And you can see it's, again, we're at 70 millimeter at f2.8 at 2000 ISO, and it just looks really, really good. I have no issues with the lens at all. This shot here is at 28. No, when we first did this shot, I zoomed in at 75 millimeter at f2.8, and of course, the field of view would be narrow, meaning if you see my cursor here, it would be in here. And then I was backing up, but I was kind of losing the feel of this. So I said, you know what, because this lens is amazing at close focus, I put it at 28 millimeter at f2.8. It could get closer than this, but I got as close as I could to get the last guy in the frame here. And look at that. I mean, just amazing. I mean, look how sharp that is. It's just, this lens is just beautiful. I mean, if you're doubting this lens, just get it already. It's really, really amazing. So let's go ahead. This is one of my favorite poses and shots here. I'm going to show you how I got this shot. So let's get into that real quick. Well, let's just go here. At least you can see the scene here. So I am using a tripod, and why that is because I didn't want this to be crooked, because we're shooting 11 different guys, and it's going to have the same scenery and everything else. So I don't use tripods unless I'm going to do multiple shoots with the same background and everything. If I were to handheld this, I mean, it would have been a disaster. You'd have just got, this would have been all crooked, then you'd have to crop to make it straight, and it would have been a disaster. So I put it on a tripod, as you can see here. I zoomed at 75 millimeters, backed the tripod up till I got the frame, as you can see right here. Once I was happy with that, then I know everything was good, and then I set up the lighting, and then I didn't have to move the tripod. All I had to do is tilt my camera up or down a little bit. Sometimes I had to back it up depending on how tall the person was, but other than that, that's about it. Now what we have here is we have a Westcott Apollo orb. I believe this is a 43-inch orb. And inside there I've got a Godox, V860 Mark II flash inside here. This is an Avenger light stand. And the cool thing about the Avenger light stand is that you have this boom that comes off, which you can do all sorts of stuff with that. And then we have over here just a really small, cheap light stand with another Godox V860 Mark II over here. And I've got a CTO on here. And what I did was, by having this just, regular daylight and having this with an orange gel, it made it look like, sun was hitting on the side of them like I showed you earlier. And because it's out in the rain, we just duct taped an umbrella for this. So it's actually raining here, although you can't see it. But so the rain wouldn't, wet my flash here. And then, my initial idea of this whole shoot 6 months ago was to have a tent in the background. So I had them set up a tent, and at first we had the tent way up here, but right away we said, oh my gosh, that's not going to work, because you'd only see, the tent would come so low and you wouldn't see it in the shot. So we just had them back it up, and basically I looked at my back of my camera here while two guys were moving it into position, and you can see it right on there. I was like, that's perfect right there. And then to bring a little bit, to bring more essence into this, I actually put another Godox V860 Mark II flash inside with just a daylight, with no CTO, with no gel on it. I put it inside so that this would light up as well to give it a little more spark back there, just because it was a gloomy day, even though this shot from Eric doesn't show how gloomy it was, because of course he exposed for everything here. But I didn't want this to just be bland back there. And if we we can look at this, you can see there's just a little bit of light going on back here, just enough to bring this out, because if I didn't light that up, then it would have just been dark with everything else and it wouldn't just have that spark. So keep in mind that you don't always want to just put flash on your subject. You do want to light the background up as well. And you can see how I lit it up back here. And we can see the nice catch light in the eyes of the Octabox. Beautiful lighting, soft, everything worked out great. So it's basically a 3-light setup there. I used the TT350 with with the AA batteries in here, only because I can't stand that other little wireless trigger that people buy with this. I do have one of those, but I just can't stand it. I'm going to do a video about it. So I actually use a TT350 as a wireless trigger, and this is not firing. I actually have it the flash turned off, and this is only using as a wireless trigger to trigger all my other lights. And you can change all your other flashes with this unit. It works out great. Again, I'll go into another video on that. We're going to zoom in on this and just show you the detail. How do I get my zoom up? Now let's zoom in on this. Look at the detail. I mean, oh my gosh, guys, the Rokinon lens completely surpassed my expectations. Look at the quality of this lens. I mean, it's just, I'm zoomed in a lot right here, and look at the fabric. And again, this is at f2.8 wide open at 75 millimeters, which is softer than the rest of the lens. And you can just see, I mean, look at that. You could even read, let's see if we can read you can almost make out it says Casio, water resistant. I mean, you can even read everything on here. Look at this. It's just absolutely amazing. And if we zoom out, you can see, look how far we zoomed in. So, I mean, if you have to crop with this lens, and this is a 24 megapixel sensor. If you have any questions, let me know. And again, stay tuned for more about this lens when I get back from my trip. And I think that's it, guys. We will talk to you next time. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. If you're thinking about the Tamron, go buy it. You'll love it.